अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स, जैसे आप लोगों को पता है कि जैसे हम लोगों का पोर्टफोलियो, चाहे वो एडवांस पोर्टफोलियो या फाउंडेशन पोर्टफोलियो, द मोमेंट वी आर गोइंग टू कंप्लीट और पोर्टफोलियो, we have to complete our creative critical reflection. So creative critical reflection है क्या? The thing is, हम लोगों के पास ऐसा है कि ये जो CCR के questions हैं जिनको हम in short we call that CCR, creative critical reflection. There are four questions और कहने को 4 questions हैं, लेकिन ये हर question थोड़ा सा detailed है और ये detailed ऐसे है कि 4 questions से ये आपके कुछ ज़्यादा ही है. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल आप क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 देखें तो इट कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू फर्दर पार्ट्स. तो इन क्वेश्चंस को थोड़ा सा समझ के करना बहुत ज़रूरी है आपके अपने प्रोजेक्ट के हवाले से. तो आज हम इन क्वेश्चंस पे गौर करेंगे और AS एंड A2 के क्वेश्चंस में थोड़ा सा फ़र्क है. 3 क्वेश्चंस एक जैसे हैं, जबकि एक जो क्वेश्चन है A2 का इट्स डिफरेंट. तो हम वो जो एक डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन है उस पे भी हम इसी वीडियो में बात करेंगे. So number 1 question is, how does your product use or challenge conventions and how does it represents social groups or issues? So अब अगर थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन पे गौर करें तो ऑलरेडी क्वेश्चन आपका 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है. हाउ डज योर प्रोडक्ट यूज और चैलेंज कन्वेंशंस. अब कन्वेंशंस की जहाँ पे बात आती है तो कन्वेंशंस किस चीज़ के? द थिंग इज़ कि आपने जो आपका प्रोडक्ट है उस प्रोडक्ट के अपने कन्वेंशंस हैं. और फिर आप प्रोडक्ट की अगर बात करें, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल यू टॉक अबाउट द बेसिक फॉर्म ऑफ द मीडिया विच यू हैव प्रोड्यूस्ड, द बेसिक मीडिया टेक्स्ट. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप लोगों ने म्यूज़िक वीडियो बनाया आप लोगों ने, ठीक है, या फिर आप लोगों ने फिल्म ओपनिंग बनाई है, तो उस फिल्म ओपनिंग के अपने कन्वेंशंस हैं. और फिर फिल्म ओपनिंग, जैसे आपको पता है फिल्म जब ओपन होती है तो आप यू आर एस्टैब्लिशिंग सर्टेन नैरेटिव, यू आर एस्टैब्लिशिंग द कैरेक्टर्स वगैरह. एक तो इस चीज़ के नैरेटिव हो, एक तो इस चीज़ के आपके कन्वेंशंस हो गए. एंड द सेकंड थिंग इज आपके कन्वेंशंस आर वेरी मच रिलेटेड टू द जॉनरा यू आर वर्किंग. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर वर्किंग इन एक्शन जॉनरा के कन्वेंशंस आर डिफरेंट. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अ फाइटिंग सीक्वेंस के अंदर इट्स गोइंग टू बी फास्ट कैमरा वर्क, whereas in a sad scene, if your basically film is going to be like sad film, तो आपका क्या होगा कि आपके वहाँ पे आपके तेज़ कट्स, लाइक फास्ट पेस एडिट्स आप लोगों के नहीं चलेंगे और आपका कैमरा वर्क भी स्लो होगा. तो अब जिस जॉनरा में काम कर रहे हैं, जिस फॉर्म में काम कर रहे हैं आप, उनके कन्वेंशंस हैं. जनरली कन्वेंशंस को डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 पार्ट्स. देयर आर टेक्निकल कन्वेंशंस एंड देयर आर सिंबॉलिक कन्वेंशंस, right? So technical conventions are basically the conventions of your technical elements. So you know that camera, mise-en-scène, editing and sound. So if you go for the further breakup, camera के अंदर you can talk about camera composition, you can talk about camera angles, you can talk about camera shot sizes, you can talk about camera movements and other things related to camera, like such as tracking आपने की है combined with आपने उसको ट्रैक के साथ आपने जिब कर दिया, तो आप लोगों ने कैसे क्या चीज़ की. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल if it's a film opening, so film opening के अंदर you're trying to establish a character, so your camera work is going to be maybe like this. If you're trying to create a suspense, if your genre is suspense, so what you're going to do is कि you are not going to straight away reveal the character. So maybe what you're going to do is you're going to use the camera in such a way that there is some character who is walking in a suspicious way and your camera is tracking the person's feet. So what you are doing, you're using the conventions of establishing a character by using the camera work. तो इसी तरह से आपके mise-en-scène के अपने conventions हैं, like आपकी lighting के conventions, the sort of lighting you use. For example, if it's a horror scary film, तो उसकी lighting is going to be much different than if you are making something dramatic, like romantic or something like that. So the thing is कि you're going to talk about mise-en-scène के अंदर, talk about costume, talk about props, talk about characters, makeup, talk about their acting, talk about their styling, and you can talk about the set design, props, वगैरह, all the visual elements. So you can talk about what's conventional. यहाँ पे एक चीज़ जो बड़ी important है वो ये है कि if you can give some intertextual references. So what are intertextual references? intertextual references can be the references from the real media text. So now what does that mean? That basically means, for example, you can give, you can give an example like जैसे वो film start होती थी, the way that film opens, so I have used the camera work in a similar way. So you have to go for one technical micro elements and you have to combine it, you have to relate it somehow to some other text which exists in a real media form. And what you can do is you can mention the conventions with your intertextual references. So that's going to make your answer strong. So there's one more thing. Genre, as you will study in your A2, the concept of genre, the genres keeps on evolving. They're not like set in stone, as said by Steve Neal. The thing is, genres are instances of repetitions and change. So the change is very crucial for the economy of the genre. The thing is, आपने जो काम किया है, आपने conventions को 100% follow नहीं किया होगा, क्योंकि बहुत दफ़ा ऐसा होता है कि you do something unconventional. Like for example, in order to make a film, for example, you're trying to make it suspenseful or something, and there is character, you are revealing the character in a very slow way and creating the suspense and everything. So the music should be suspenseful. What if there is soft music playing in the background? So that is something unconventional. So there can be some things which you have done which are unconventional. Okay, so you have to mention those things, like for example, unconventional camera work, unconventional mise-en-scène, unconventional way of editing. Okay, and you can also go for the unconventional sounds, all right, and unconventional narrative, unconventional maybe titles, because your titles are part of your film opening. So how does your product use or challenge conventions? So in short, you have to talk about what is your genre. But there is one more thing which I said, there are symbolic conventions as well. So symbolic can be the things which basically, if you just think about the theory of semiotics. So the thing is, there are obvious signs and then there are deeper signs with a deeper meaning. All right. So symbolic basically means the symbols of something, but the symbols can have the deeper meaning. So talk about the semantic elements. All right. For example, a knife, a kitchen knife, if it's on maybe a kitchen table, is a simple knife to cut the fruit. What if there is some intruder in the house and there is some person who's holding that knife? Now that knife has a deeper meaning. Or for example, just blood on the knife simply represents that something bad has happened, and that basically gives you a connotation. All right, so denotations are the literal meaning and connotations are the deeper meaning, as you have studied in basically semiotics. And okay, so you have used maybe certain elements as symbols. For example, if you have used flowers, red flowers, so that is the conventional way of representation of love. Maybe a gun, a conventional way of representation of danger. So what codes you have used, what symbolic codes you have used. So you can talk about all of these things in your, how does your product use the challenge conventions and how does it represent social groups or issues. Now that is the second part. So the thing is, the product which you have made, if you can relate it to certain social group, and I'm sure you can relate it to certain social group. For example, you must have some character who is male, or you must have some character who is female. So there are stereotypical way of representing them. What about if you have represented the males as in a conventional way, in a conventional stereotypical way, the male character as violent, as aggressive, as the one who simply finds the solution by the way of fighting with other people. So the thing is, that's a conventional depiction of the male character. And on the other side, if it's more like if you have like a female character and you have portrayed her to be in a way, in a weaker way, in a victim state, or in a way doing domestic chores and such roles, so that means you have represented them in the stereotypical way, and you can do it otherwise as well. Like for example, you have depicted the male character not aggressive but a sensitive character. All right, so maybe once again, like in the conventions, जैसे आपने यूजर चैलेंज किया था, अब यहाँ पे आपने उनको कैसा रिप्रेजेंट किया. So as you know, there can be depiction of age, there can be depiction of gender, the way you have depicted the gender. किस एज के लोगों को कैसा रिप्रेजेंट किया, टीनेजर्स को कैसा रिप्रेजेंट किया, older age को कैसा represent किया. So you can talk about them, and then you can have representation of ethnicities, representation of races, किस रेस के लोग किस तरह के आपने उनको represent किया, and maybe the way they are being treated in the society and how you have represented them. And so you know all the social groups as you have done for your section A. There are age, there is gender, class and status, there is ethnicity, there can be regional identity. So all of those you can relate with your own depiction, like how you have represented them. So I hope that question is clear. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how it represents certain social groups or issues? Thank you very much.